Now, the disadvantages of hydroponic farming. Hydroponic farming requires commitment. If you forget to tend a farm for a few days, the results shouldn't be too bad. Mother Nature always has your back. But when you bring your gardening into hydroponics, this is going to require a lot more supervision. You have mechanical things such as pumps, pipes, filtration, water levels all need to be monitored and adjusted. Nutrient blends on the form of total dissolved solids need to be monitored. Pest management, through the use of screens needs to be monitored. And because if you're using a system such as nutrient film technology, a pump failure can cause your roots to go bad quickly. The systems must be constantly monitored. Even after initial setup process is done, they need to be monitored on a daily basis and data taken daily. Bad things can happen fast. For example, if there was a power outage and the reservoirs stopped moving water to the plants, they could die in a matter of hours. Alarms sometimes are put on the system to alert you. Other times you will have a backup source of power, such as a backup generator, maybe even a set of batteries. In addition, if you're in a climate-controlled setting, such as a greenhouse, even the fans, if the circulating fans and exhaust louvers aren't operating, the temperature in the greenhouse can climb too high. Leafy greens, they'll start wilting at around 85 degrees. Another disadvantage with hydroponic systems is the introduction of waterborne diseases. By growing in water alone, you remove a lot of the complications that can damage and kill your plants. However, a hydroponic system is a closed system, meaning the water is constantly recirculated. Fungus and bacteria can grow in the water supply and the medium of which the plants are held. This is an advantage with the NFT systems, as it's just a minimum amount of water going through the system. A bucket system or flood and drain system, or even a deep water culture system, bacteria and fungus can grow in your water supply and damage your plants. This brings us to another point. You need to keep your system clean. This includes your channels, your buckets, your clay pebble medium if that's what you're using. This requires removing any kind of roots, washing down your buckets, and scrubbing out your channels. Any remaining matter in there will actually corrupt your system. Periodically, you need to drain your reservoirs and scrub them out, removing any kind of calcified nutrients, which will, due to evaporation, plate out on certain external surfaces. So a cleaning program is important to implement. Other disadvantages to hydroponic systems are as follows. There's a higher upfront cost. You have materials yet you have to spend before you can even start growing. Secondly, there's a sharper learning curve, which hopefully these modules will help you overcome. In addition, there are moving parts. You have pumps, you have air compressors, you have tubes that can clog. So it's important that you understand the equipment that you have installed, trace all the lines, know where they go, and maintain the pump's piping. Probably the biggest problem is that hydroponic systems, except for maybe a deep water culture system or a wicking system, depends on electricity. If you lose your power, you can lose your plants. Backup source of power is very important. If on a small system, batteries work really, really well, when the power goes out. In larger systems, you may have to turn to generators. In addition, alarms are very important. You're not at the farm all the time. You may be inside your house, you may be at work. You need to have some kind of alerting system so that if your power goes out, you can get an alert on your cell phone. Maybe an alarm goes off in your house if you happen to be growing home. The other disadvantage is, of course, since your system is almost always running, it's going to use some electricity. That's why it's very important when you get your system set up that you balance it out in such a way to use a minimum amount of electricity as possible. It's a little bit harder with grow lights, if you're going that way. Some people with greenhouses will actually use grow lights in the wintertime, in the morning and the afternoon, and rely on the sun to provide the rest of the light that's required for photosynthesis. And then, of course, other total indoor, will use grow lights up to 14 hours a day. And of course, a byproduct of that is if you're growing inside your house, the grow lights, even with the efficient LED lights, despite what they say is cool heat, they still generate heat, okay, which would have to be removed either by air conditioning or even ventilation, or you have a danger of the heat in the room going up too high, in which case your plants will wilt. And lastly, growing hydroponically requires some expertise. It's not as simple as just putting a plant in the ground and watering it daily. The hydroponic farmer needs to know his system 100%. If something can fail, it will. You have to be prepared for that. You have to keep the system clean. If you don't keep the system clean, you will have problems with your growth. Learn to read your plants. Changing coloration on the leaves can tell you have maybe an oxygen problem, maybe you have too much nitrogen, and the nutrient balance will need to be adjusted. Record keeping. I cannot emphasize it enough. Daily record keeping is necessary to know exactly what your farm is doing. You can monitor the amount of water added. That will tell you your water consumption. You will find that it goes up as the plants get larger and there's more evaporation. Even if it's not, that's a whole nother problem. Now, a big question after hearing all these advantages and disadvantages is growing hydroponically worth it? That's a decision you'll have to make, but in my opinion, definitely yes. You have a lot of control over your plants. Hydroponically, you actually can grow in layers. So if you have a garage, for example, okay, you can actually put in 3 layers, and with proper crop sequencing, you can grow quite a few crops, okay, for your own consumption or for sale.